Ancient History with Mr. Walpole. Can you tell us why choose Ancient History GCSE?
Mrs. Renyard, I can think of several reasons why students would love to take Ancient History GCSE. First of all, it is ridiculously fun. There are so many wonderful accounts. It is essentially the history of evil people doing unspeakable things. Expect to hear stories of battles in which thousands are slain, cannibalism, incest, adultery, and all of this kind of malarkey. But on a serious note, I would actually make the very bold claim, and I think this is a bold claim because I know you yourself are a modern historian. I would claim ancient history is a very relevant subject. Relevant indeed. This is the subject on the curriculum where there's a lot of, there's African, there's Asian history, there's quite a bit of LGBT history as well. You get to see how the past influences the present. But I think even more than that, I think we're living in a time of clashes between civilizations, so like Russia, Ukraine at the moment, things like that. We are studying in ancient history the first historically recorded clash of civilizations, of tyranny versus democracy, which is of course how the historians traditionally argue it, but of course we also study the other side of the story as well, how the Persians felt about the Greeks. So just to sum up, it's a subject that is ridiculously entertaining, but also deeply relevant to the modern age.
Sounds fantastic. Thank you very much. So Lucy and Olivia, you both chose Ancient History GCSE. Tell us why.
I chose Ancient History because it's a very interesting subject in that it is a mixture of legend and stories that are definitely not true, with very real history that has shaped our lives today. So it's a really interesting contrast. So you get a mixture of some fun and also some really, really interesting stuff.
Was it similar for you?
Yeah, I think it's really interesting learning about how the different civilizations, even though they're all existing at the same time, how very different they are from each other, and just the weird things that they all do with just everything. They just live very weird lives.
And if you had to give our year 8s who are just choosing their options now some advice about studying ancient history, what would you say?
I would say that it's a very good subject to do because it's very different to all the other subjects and not many schools do it, which means it's like a really unique opportunity that not many people get. And yeah, I think it's just a really interesting and fun, very chaotic subject.
I think it's a great subject to choose because in terms of the exam format, it's nothing like history, modern history, which I thought it would be. Yeah. The essays are much more, what do you think and what are your arguments and what do you believe, and arguing for that rather than just straight factual things. Another thing I think is also really interesting and important is you learn about societies that you probably wouldn't have heard of otherwise. I mean, everyone's heard of the Greeks and Romans, but most people don't know much about the Persians, and I think people are really missing out because it's a really interesting subject.
Hi, Darcy and Tian. Tell us a little bit about why you chose Ancient History GCSE.
Well, I think it's really interesting because you learn a lot like about how like previous events in history and battles like affect the modern day, like with the significance of like the Greeks and the Romans in like our current political systems. It's also just like it's a really funny subject, like you won't get bored with it. Was it similar for you?
Yeah, I agree that there's lots of things that could be transferred to the modern day, but I also think it's a really unique subject that many other schools really offer, which has lots of transferable skills that can be used in other areas.
And what skills have you guys used so far in the GCSE?
I think I'm learning a lot about analysing sources and like reliability and stuff like that, which can be transferred into like fake news and seeing if the newspapers are reliable and that kind of thing.
Yeah, it's also really good for like arguing a convincing point because a lot of the essays you can pick like multiple sides with them, and it's great to learn how to like convince the examiner of your like side.
Sounds great, quite exciting actually. So thank you ever so much and wishing you all the very best with the rest of your GCSE study.